Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to a new episode of What's Brewing Sis podcast. I am Shelly.
I'm Bianca.
And I'm Deanna. Here together, we discuss family matters, matters of the heart, lifestyle issues, business, friendships, and other matters of the heart.
Yes, we are back.
We are back. We took a little summer vacation from the pod, but we are back. So happy to see you guys all again. And then you ladies are at the cafe.
Yes. So it's hard to keep us all three together, but you can normally find two at least.
Right. But that's okay. We still pulling together. I did an ode to the cafe here.
I see. It feels like you're here.
Right. I didn't want to feel left out.
Yes, you will make sure. Okay, you will make sure you do not feel left out. I said she got a whole background in the bag.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
I say 3.
Oh, guys, y'all remember the last episode?
Yes, it was our moms.
Oh, yeah.
If you have yet to check out the episode with our moms, that was so much fun. They are so funny, and we tease my mom because some of the stuff that she said, she was nervous, but she wants to come back on the podcast and
right some wrongs.
She wants to come back and prove to the world, because her sister told her she looked nervous, so she's like, I look nervous. I wasn't nervous. So man, she were.
I'm sure we could find a topic to bring her back. So.
Yes, all the moms. I enjoyed you guys' moms too. How did you guys' moms feel after the show?
My mother actually enjoyed it. She was the one who I was like, she ain't coming out. Be on camera. But she actually enjoyed it. I did tell her she cheated, so
yes, how was Cynthia?
She enjoyed it. So we haven't made good on our gift cards.
Lord,
it's my gift cards.
Yes,
Hi, Janelle.
We
those gift cards out.
We definitely have to get those gift cards out, because my mom will ask for it until she gets it. So,
oh my goodness. Yeah.
Thank them all for doing such a good job. They got us some subscribers that week. So that show is funny. If you haven't checked out the Mother's Day Mama Knows Best game, featuring guest host Kimberly Purdue, that definitely is an episode that you want to check out. It was a lot of fun.
So much fun. Thanks again, Kim. And she got to, highlight her mom and wish her Mother's Day. So we love her.
We absolutely
always welcome back.
Yes, and Kim just celebrated a birthday, so happy birthday as well.
Happy birthday, Kim.
Yep. So,
and someone else close to us just celebrated a birthday.
I'm gonna say who? I am so bad with dates. Happy birthday, Deanna.
Thank you.
You do not
like we've been doing this podcast. I'm sorry.
I was saying she does not look a day over 20.
Zoe said 26. I'll take it.
Yeah. Our very first podcast, I think we discussed that we were doing something for Deanna's birthday. We went to what did we go to? The Bridgerton experience.
Wow.
Yeah. So now here we are a year later, our first year potting.
Happy anniversary. We are a year into this podcast thing. We definitely are so much more relaxed than our first episode, even though I love our first episode. But it was a lot of fun. That was great conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was hilarious. We talked about, predator dolphins.
Our trip to Las Vegas, where we had a lot of sun and had a lot of fun, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Right, that part.
So we got to plan another trip. But that was pre-Cafe Coco Latte and being in our space. So a lot has happened in this year. And sometimes I'm like, oh, Lord.
Right.
You know, I said the other day, like, sometimes when you get what you actually prayed for, it's like, did I pray for this?
All right, like, wait.
You are supplying the color for our screen, so I need you to stay So yes, like that was before actually having a cafe space, and I feel like everything that we talk about has come true. So do you feel like it puts this responsibility on anything else that we talk about to come true as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, we've talked about before the power of manifestation. So speak it, say it, believe it, breathe it, and it shall come fast. Yeah.
What do you think about manifestation, Deanna? A lot of people have a negative sometimes connotation to manifestation, like it's almost like you're stepping outside of God to bring this into your life. Like I've heard a lot of pastors kind of frown upon manifestation.
Well, I think
really
what you seek to manifest, you need to also check your motive behind it. Right? Is it something that's going to be pleasing to God, bring glory to God? Are you looking for self-gratification or for an opportunity and experience to showcase God's abilities and capacity to do beyond what we see in the right now present? So, yeah. But I think it can be used, in a negative way or for evil doing or whatever. But the scripture tells us, be careful, for God is not mocked. What a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So if your motive is wrong, your intentions are wrong, and you manifest something that maybe is going to bring gloom, doom, and harm to yourself and others, that may be
is out here manifesting the doom and the gloom.
Every people out there like, I wish he would die.
Right. I'm normally like,
right.
But I don't know. Do you manifest, Bianca? Do you manifest things?
I do. So I recently having a conversation with Deanna that, and this probably sounds like old lady stuff, but I have been staring at stoves, microwaves, refrigerators, because I am going to get a new, kitchen setup and cabinets and countertops. So I will continuously go to Menards, go to Lowe's, go to Home Depot, look at these things probably once a month. And then I'll be on my phone probably every week looking at new appliances. And I do that because the more I do that, eventually it'll just come into play. I feel like the same thing has happened in my life throughout, whether it was my college degree, like, okay, I'm going to apply for school. I'm going to apply. And eventually I did. So I think that's kind of a way of me manifesting things for myself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Janelle said, well said, Deanna, check your motives behind that manifestation.
So I don't think that God wants us not to make our requests known or think on things that are good and not evil and, manifest and bring things to pass. That I don't think that goes against.
Yeah. The hot girl summer might bring some.
So I guess I can't manifest having a hot girl summer. It's all depending on what a hot girl summer looks like.
Right. What does that mean for you?
What does it look like to you and God together? Like, is he a part of this manifestation? Right. That's the thing. So that's my thing. So if I'm manifesting something to be in my life, I want God to be a part of it. Almost to kind of like put his signature on it. Right. So if I see certain things that are like, okay, you might manifesting a man. Let's take that for example. So if I'm manifesting a good guy to come into my life and I'm being a jerk, is God in this with me? Same thing with a car, a house, or anything that you're kind of doing. If you're manifesting it with God, I think that then you can avoid the negative doom and gloom.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just got to check what the hot girl summer looks like.
What does the hot girl summer look like?
Janelle, maybe just a lukewarm girl summer. Lukewarm, yeah. But yes, definitely it's I think it boils down to your intentions on things. Like you can't be manifesting that you be able to get your BBL this summer. Like that that ain't necessarily it. But manifesting some peace in your life or love in your life might be okay.
I mean, I don't know. Who am I to say that getting a BBL doesn't somehow align with what God wills for your life? But
milk and cookies, girl.
I don't know. But I would say, whatever it is, do some soul searching and what, checking your motive and what are you how are you gonna, glorify God in this situation? How is God gonna be magnified, glorified, and how is this gonna be an example to those who are looking for some good positive examples?
Yes. Yes. So if we have not hinted upon in this early pre-show, what is the show all about conversation, the show today is about walking in your purpose. How does that look? Are you walking with God? Do you even feel like you're walking in your purpose and what you believe God has set out for your life? So that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah. And maybe you're on a journey to discover your purpose. And you're looking for, an answer or the question. Sometimes the question is just important as the answer. So
I think when we started talking about this topic, I ended up with more questions than answers. So, it got me to thinking, like, what is purpose? Like, how does one find their purpose? How do you know you're not in your purpose already while you're looking for purpose? Like, there's so many different questions out there that need answers.
Yeah, so I when I came up with some questions that I wanted to ask all of us, I was interested to know you guys' answer. I want to think out mine as well. So mine are surrounded around quotes. So you guys know I love quotes. So the first one is a quote from. I wrote them down. I think I got it. The first quote is from DMX, the late rapper DMX, who said, "God won't walk you to what." Okay, yes. You jinx me. God won't walk you to what He won't walk you through. So God won't
walk you to
what He won't walk you through. Okay, I should be. I'm not a rapper. Okay. What do you guys feel about that? What has God walked you through that He is currently walking you? What has God walked you to that He's currently walking you through?
That's a tough question. I think God has walked me through a lot of stuff in life, period.
I think it's those things that maybe we think, I can't do this. There's no way I can do this. Those moments when you feel like I don't have the strength. I don't have the courage.
What is that specifically for you, Deanna?
I mean, it's been several things, but I guess one thing that people could probably most recently identify with is the whole breast cancer journey. And although I guess y'all know I'm different, so I didn't crumble at the diagnosis itself. I was more so like, I don't have time for this. Like, I have a lot going on right now. I'm busy. I'm booked and busy. I don't have time for cancer. But I had to set myself aside and my own schedule and everything that I thought I was about to do and planning to do, actively doing. And you do have to whether you like it or not, now is the time that you have to deal with this diagnosis, treatment, and everything that comes along with it. But I think once I got past the initial who about to sit it go through.
yeah, more questions.
Like, who about to be bothered with chemo and surgery and all this blah, blah, blah. Once I got my brain around the fact you are, then it was like, okay.
Do you now have a different appreciation for time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, obviously, God has trusted me with this journey to be an example to others.
He will do that.
Yeah.
He will put you center stage because to answer that for me was I prayed to lose my job. Okay. I think he walks with me because I saw him every day. I was like, I hate it here. I hate it here. And I definitely think it could have been some manifestation. Now, when it started to get a little shaky, I was like, oh my God, did I do this with God? Like, was that my intention in the beginning? Like, did I bring him along with me and saying, I hate this job? I knew I was talking to God. I knew I was saying, please, God, I hate it here. I need to, I need to live in what my true purpose is. And I think that truly is entrepreneurship. Like, as scary as it sometimes can be, I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. It's scary, but I don't know another entrepreneur who hasn't said that it's scary and you'll love it.
Yeah.
So that's keep walking me through it, because I said I didn't ask for this.
Right. I think everything in life is a journey. For me, the biggest thing that I've walked through is my husband's passing. That for me, I was like, wrap up the course, turn the lights off, forget all of this. Because how you supposed to be happy after that? That to me, like, really kicked me in the guts. And at some point, me and God was having conversations like, this is effed up, right? Like, how? What? Help me to understand this. I don't get it. I don't know how I'm supposed to get it. There is nothing you can say to me that's going to help me get it. Like, all of the above. The conversations that people frown upon you having with God. So I think I was on autopilot for a couple of years. It's like, yeah, I'm here, I'm present. I might be sitting at the table not saying nothing, but I'm here. Because like I was struggling with it. And I still have days where I'm like, okay, something exciting has happened. Guess who I want to text on my phone? Like, oh, guess what happened? Or I want to laugh at something, and I don't have that, person that I'm used to texting. Not that I don't have y'all or anything, but so that was definitely tough. And God definitely walked me through it. Now I'm, I get it, kinda ish, God. So, but He definitely held my hand and walked me through that, because I think without God, that was not going. I don't know how. I don't even have the words. It's more like I just don't know. So.
Right. I feel you on that.
So, I think I kind of touched on some of the things already.
So, how do you know what your purpose is? I just want to ask that to the room, because I really struggle with that question. I was like, okay, what is my purpose? I think for the past few years, I've kind of been, I think, Shelly, you were doing photography still at the time and doing graphic design. And I was like, I need to find a side hustle. I need to find a hobby. I need to find a something. And I'm like, I just don't know what that something is. And this is pre-Cafe Coco Latte days. And now that we have our cafe, I'm like, okay, is this my purpose? Or is this like, definitely something I prayed upon and something that God is giving us? And am I going to find purpose in this? Or is this my purpose? Or do I have a bigger purpose? Or a smaller purpose? A purpose don't always have to be big. Your purpose could just be to be a parent. Or your purpose could just be to be a friend, or a daughter, or a son, or whatever. How does one know what their purpose is?
I think that is definitely getting closer to God, asking those questions. I feel like the one thing that you can do, if nothing at all, you can ask God questions, and I think He will for sure reveal them to you. Like design for me definitely is a passion, but I don't think it's my purpose. I think my purpose is much bigger than, kind of what I'm good at. I think my purpose is definitely in, kind of changing the world and within my own small world. Whether it be just having a conversation with somebody that didn't smile, in a day, making people laugh, being a mom, being a shoulder to cry on, being a good friend. So those are like things that I either, I want to get better at. And I think it bringing a smile to somebody's face, I think that's good. I think more people should be smiling. We're at a time when, it's after COVID and, a lot of people pass and people still pass. People pass every day. But, life is hard. And I don't truly know what the one thing purpose is, but I think God, I hope that He's filled me with a lot of different purposes.
So I got a cheat code. Several years ago, Janelle might remember this. We participated in Bible study, and the session or the series that we were doing was actually using the book in the accompanying journal for a purpose-driven life. And how, part of the manifestations that we say together is I'm driven by passion and purpose. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And this book was like a study of purpose and what, if we say we're Christians, what purpose should look like if our overall purpose is to live a life that's representative and pleasing to God. Then we've all been created to win others, souls into the kingdom of God. How we do that is making sure that we are, light and representative of light, and in whatever our daily tasks and roles and many hats that we wear, are we truly representing God and the image in His? Are we actually operating in His image and His likeness? Are we showing kindness to others? Are we, being helpful, being kind, all the principles? Are we living our life as best as we can, like Christ? Now, that could be in this coffee shop, Are we, are we a beacon of light to people who come in here? Like you said, there was a young man that Shelly said she noticed yesterday that he seemed downtrodden. Today, he seemed more like his usual self, like we're used to seeing him. But she asked him, like, I saw you yesterday, you barely spoke, you look sad. And he was just like, hey, I'm human. I was having a day, but today is a better day. I think part of our purpose is to assess, affirm, and acknowledge other people. See people when they're hurt, see people when they're downtrodden, and continue to, be a uplifting person in their atmosphere.
Because that might have made his day just to be seen. A lot of people struggle with just being seen in life. Because you're going through your motions. You're waking, your alarm goes off, you wake up, you shower, brush your teeth, get dressed, go to work. You get off work, you got to take care of your kids, or if you don't have kids, your pet, or if you don't have pets, you got to take care of you. You do whatever your activities are, you're ready, you're for bed, you do it all over again the very next day. So sometimes just being seen could definitely be something that makes somebody's day. But so I'm gonna say this: I have not found my purpose. I don't think. Do you guys think you found your purpose?
I don't know. Like I honestly and truthfully don't think that we're limited to this like one thing that we were sent here to do. I think it could be multiple things. So I think I've maybe found some. I've achieved some assignments. Like I've done some things where it's like I'm always gonna remember Shelly as being X, Y, and Z. Or Shelly was a good friend to me, and I'm all you know what I'm saying. You kind of leave an imprint in the sand for somebody in their life. So I feel like these purposes, as long as I'm aligning with God, may continue. I want to live a that keeps or continues to send things in my life that's like, Shelly, you've achieved this goal. Now let's take you a level higher. You can help this person, but I definitely think it's surrounded by helping people.
Yeah. So I was saying, in terms of like a tangible role or a career or something like that, I don't know that there is one thing that I feel like this is what my life's work is about. Mm-hmm. But I think the greater overarching theme of my purpose here is to be a representative of Christ, lead others to Christ, and be demonstrative of the characteristics of Christ. That's my overall purpose. Now, how do I do that in whatever job or role or, life task that I'm carrying out? I hope is that I, show up for people. I hope that I, extend grace to people. I lead by example and things like that. But definitely flawed. It's not something that I think a human being, will ever necessarily reach 100%, but I think if more of your life is such that you feel can be displayed transparently, you're not like, ooh, I hope they don't pull back the covers, or, you're not walking around right, you're not walking around in fear of being exposed because you're fraud, you remember the episode of Martin, the girl who was like she was vegan or whatever. Yeah.
They pulled back the covers.
They saw her eating ribs. You know what I mean? Like there's no big lie that you're perpetuating to the world, only to find out. Like I think that does more damage to people when you project an image of perfection based on like a blatant lie, and then that becomes exposed. Like we see pastors, preachers, all business people, whatever, get exposed in some scandal, and it's like, oh my God, I thought this person was, the person to aspire to be like, and but then you find out really they're just human too. So I think being humble and understanding that people are human and flawed goes a long way, but also being transparent. Like, recently had a conversation with a family member who was asking me for advice about filing bankruptcy, and she was saying like, did I have anybody I could refer her to? But she was like, first I got to get over the guilt and shame and anxiety of talking about financial matters or being in a bad financial place. I'm like, girl, get over it.
Yeah.
You and millions of other Americans have had to file bankruptcy. I said, I filed bankruptcy myself nearly 20 years ago. That's why I got the plug. Like, yeah, call him up. I just called him to make sure that his number was still correct, and he answered. Like, get over it and call him right now. Like,
purpose sounds like a purpose. Letting people know out here that I can live some life. I know how this goes down, because there's been a lot of things that I've brought to you, and you're like, this.
That's easy.
That's easy. This is how you get around. But yes, that getting rid of that guilt and that shame that comes with things that happen in life, when you realize your mentor, has been through it too. I'm like, well, shoot, yeah.
Right. Like that's just life. That's just life.
Absolutely.
Life out here, like it doesn't mean you're a bad person, because anybody can fall on hard times, lose a job, whatever, have a critical illness. Like there's so many things that could affect your financial situation or whatever.
Yes. And guys, we see that you guys are here and you're joining. So if you want to join in on this conversation, we are live. So if you're here, we'll say hi. And if you got any questions or anything that you want to add to this conversation, please do. We want to make sure that you guys are in the mix as well.
Yeah. We can even send you a link and let you pop on.
Yeah, if anybody wants to come on the screen, Mom, are you out there?
To redeem herself.
But yes, join in on this conversation. I love these talks because, man, God has changed my life. He's changed our life. He's continuing to change our life. So now I've become one of those type of people that's like, y'all better get in on this. This relationship with God, it is something unbelievable. Like, he is blowing my mind every day. And he's trying to get me to be more relaxed. Like, he continues to test me every day. Today I was tested, and I think I peed on myself a little bit. But I know he was like, look at this plum dumb fool. I done told her a bunch of times, I have you. Like, look, I have you. And it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
It is. It definitely is. I think that sometimes you have those human emotions where you still have the fear, you still have the worry or the whatever. And I think that's natural because I feel like God gave us these emotions to have.
Yes, but hasn't he told us that he has us? What is wrong with me?
Oh, some things. I mean, you gotta. So when you fail a test, you gotta retake it till you get it right.
No, I know.
So it's gonna happen again until you pass that test, and then there'll be others. But the thing that was driving her crazy, and she was trying to text me, call me. My phone wasn't right next to me. I was cold chilling. I ain't even know that there was this whole anxiety going on. So when she walked back into the cafe, she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing. What's wrong with you?" She's like, "You wasn't answering phone." That's all. And I was like, "Girl."
I was so embarrassed because I'm like, I just to see her be like it was nothing. And even my own child was like, "Come on, like, let's go. What are you doing? You're being ridiculous." So that is my goal for moving forward, to kind of breathe through situations and not go into this panic mode, because I think I do miss out a lot on life. Like, I could have missed a customer coming into the door because I was down the damn hall worried about something that was none of my business.
Completely nothing.
Pissing down hall.
And I'm like, la 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 la. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And she was having a whole breakdown. But my phone was etc.
Definitely feel like God is talking to me, and that to me is obedience. Mm-hmm. That is obedience. If God is saying, it is showing you all of the signs, like, hey, I didn't put you guys in this cafe in order to see the business fail. I just need you to do your part. Hey, do your part, and everything will be good. But I definitely think I will continue to be tested until there is no ounce of pee. I don't have to wear diapers.
So, I mean, the Bible often tells us, though, that if we keep our mind on God, he'll keep us in perfect peace. So don't let your peace be taken away by anxiety or the fear of what somebody else might do, say, or think.
Yes.
Like, it takes time to, build your trust, your confidence, your faith, whatever. But I think sometimes some of the tests or life experiences that we have is for that purpose. To build our faith, to build our trust, to build our confidence. And it's like, don't sweat the small stuff.
Absolutely not. Like, that is my goal. That is something that I'm putting in the forefront. I heard someone say recently, anything that you do, anything that you go through, put God first. So if it's something that I'm struggling with, it's not kind of like a what would God do? It's more so, God, can you just be with me in this situation? And nobody is greater than my God. So the fear that came in me in this moment, afterwards, of course, I thought, like, why would I make this a big deal? Like, why would I make this person seem as if they are bigger than God? And sure enough,
one thing better.
Yeah. Living and learning out here.
So, what are some practical choices that you know, anybody in our audience or you ladies, what are some practical choices that you think you'll make today to be closer to God and, you know, as you continue to work to discover your purpose?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that question again.
So what are some practical choices that you think you can make today to begin to grow closer to God and fulfill or, you know, continue to explore your purpose?
You want to take that?
I have no idea.
It's weird.
I am still in the discovery phase. I am not, you know, gonna sit here and be like, oh, I have this, you know, all figured out and I know what to do and what the next step is. I am still in the figuring out space, so I don't have an answer.
It's wisdom for me. It's wisdom, reading my Bible, and understanding or having a better understanding of His Word. You know, I think with that, I will be more of a pleaser of God.
I like that. I mean, yes, I think I will try to be more intentional with the time that I spend, you know, with God, with the things of God, the people of God, and
do you think you're not doing it now?
Not that I'm not doing it now, but I think I could do more. Like when I was preparing for today's topic, and I started to look back through my journal notes and the book, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and reread this book. I think sometimes we need to re-study. Like you study something once, and although it may have been impactful, that like I don't know how many years ago that was that we did it, but everything, every topic, every question, every journal assignment might mean something totally different.
Yeah.
You know, I believe I was in my 20s the first time that we went through that. But now I've had several additional life experiences where, you know, even what I said, or even to look back and reflect on what I wrote then versus what I would say now, it's probably changed. So sometimes I think it's important to reflect or to reread or, you know, Bible tells us to study to show ourselves approved. Yeah. And you can say, now I get it. I remember also several years ago, Pastor Lisa preached a sermon that said, it like if you don't know who you are, or you feel like you don't know why you are where you are in life. Yeah. If you spend time telling God who He is, He'll reveal to you who you are. So I think sometimes taking the onus or the light off of yourself, and you know, it could be good or bad. Like someone could be having a pity party saying, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? Why, blah, blah, blah. Or it could be thinking, you know, too highly of yourself, exalting yourself above God. Like, I did this. I'm the greatest, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, if we humble ourselves, pray, and acknowledge God for who He is, and, you know, spend time just focusing on telling God, you know, who He is, what He's been in your life, and whatever. Then, and then after, you know, spending that time talking, listening, God will. You know,
do you know yourself? That's a question.
Right.
And that's a question I'm asking anybody who's willing to answer, who's watching. Do you truly know yourself? Do you know who you are as a person?
I honestly think that question I have the answer to, and it's yes. I think that I will spend time reflecting over things, like, so that reflection part just kind of stood out to me that you were saying. So maybe that could be something that I'll do. But I'll reflect and think about things, or think about the way I handle things, or how I can handle things differently next time, or how I've grown from who I was as a child to now. So I think that part, I definitely know me inside out. So, and also I'm at a point now where if I know something is upsetting or triggering or whatever to me, I'm gonna avoid it. Or if I know it's something that I love, or it's gonna bring me happiness and peace, I want to go towards that. I'm at a place where I'm like, I know me and I want to stay away or join in on things that are, of, purpose to me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think I know myself. And so in addition to knowing yourself, are you honest with yourself?
Yeah.
Like, girl, yeah.
Good, bad, and indifferent. Like, are you honest, with yourself? But yeah, I think I know myself pretty well at this age. And I think I'm honest with myself.
Now I'm gonna be honest. This is my honesty. I don't, especially given that I react to certain situations. It's like I feel like if I had better control over self in certain situations where they cause me anxiety or they cause me stress, then, and not that I'm trying to get to be this perfect person, I'm not, but this is one thing about myself that it's a need for it to change. So I know myself a little. I know myself enough. I know myself to get through certain things. I know myself when it's time to, when my back is against the wall and I have to do something, but I want to move out of that element and stop being so stressed over little things,
Mm-hmm.
I have to get better at that. I think my life, I would lead a much more happier life. And this is coming from a person who is, I'm happy, but I want to get better at that, at knowing myself to say, oh, this person said this, don't react, walk away, take your time before you respond back. I have to get better at that.
I think, and I know the Bible says be anxious for nothing, but I do struggle with anxiety as well. I think for me, not that I'm setting a kitchen timer on how long I'm gonna be anxious, but I try to do things that'll get rid of that anxiousness that I have, and then I'm not dwelling on it. I'm done with it. It's like, okay, I was anxious here, now I'm done. I'm moved on to the next thing. Yeah, and there are some things that sometimes you'll be like, okay, this is a situation that needs to be addressed and talked about, and then that anxiety will go away. But some things, girl, I could walk around TJ Maxx, and then by the time I walked out the door, I done left all the anxiety right in TJ Maxx at the checkout counter. And walked out, and I feel so much better. And I feel so much better, and I'm good because I think that and every person is different, but I know people are flawed and they're human. So I think it's okay to have said human emotion, to be anxious or angry or upset or worried, but put a timer on it. Like, you know what? Can I do anything about this situation? If I can, I'm gonna do it. If I can't do anything about it, I can't still sit around and be upset about it. I have to move forward and look to the next thing or whatever the solution is.
Yeah. One of my favorite podcasts is the B. Simone Megan Ashley podcast, the Know For Sure podcast. If you guys have to check that out, definitely check it out. It's a really good episode. And what they talked about last night was something similar about what we're talking about. But I got another quote. So Megan Ashley said, true revelation comes when you stop praying God fix them and change me. That kind of stopped me in my I wasn't going anywhere, but it stopped me. What do you guys think about that? What prayers are you praying for, big or small, for yourself? What prayers do you have for yourself?
I definitely pray for peace, my own peace, my own understanding, my own discernment. Those are my main ones. Those are my main ones. It's like I definitely want to live a life of peace and freedom and, just, not an anxious life, not a whatever. And with that, you can't focus on anybody else but yourself because God fixing them does nothing for you. You still have to live with who you are and what's going on inside of you. And it's, you that need to be able to say, okay, maybe I can't fix them, but I can fix the way I react to it. Or I can fix being in this situation. or I could fix, whatever it is that I could fix versus what God could fix for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my prayer for myself is to always be better, do better, be a better representative of God, make my life so that it is reflective of, what God would want for me and what He would want people to be able to perceive and take from me. So I feel like in those times where I'm a faulty human, which I definitely have. After a moment of doing something that I feel doesn't represent who God is, it just makes me feel like, dang, like you know better. Like you had the opportunity to be better, and
what are those things? Do you want to share? I'm curious.
I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but I might get angry. I might pop off. I might, snap back. Or sometimes I can keep an even tone, but still be cutting with my words.
Slice and dice, okay?
So, but I'm like, that's not who I prefer to be. But we all have breaking points,
And is the prayer then for your, like in those moments, does the prayer become about Deanna, or does it become about the person or the person or the thing that could be causing the
No, but just like you said, I can't pray for God to fix others.
Yeah.
I'm like, fix me, change me, oh God. Like, there are things that I can say as I've grown as a person in adulthood that I don't do anymore. Like as a younger person, I was a grudge holder. It was hard for me to forgive certain things. Yeah. And I felt like, once you've offended me, you're dead to me. Like, don't, But I was like, I'm not going around wishing bad things happen to you, but I just cut you off.
Yeah.
But so I now know what I now know for sure is that is not what God would want us to do. Yeah. Not just cut people off, throw them away, and be done with them. I've said some harsh things, to family members or whatever. But knowing that God is gracious and He extends grace and forgives us daily, we have to also be forgiving. And, even if someone, you feel like they're choosing to be in whatever circumstance or situation that they're in, like say, for example, someone who has a problem with substance abuse or whatever. If you're not a person with a substance abuse problem, you might feel like they should just stop being a crackhead, But if it were that easy, there wouldn't be as many crackheads as there are in the world. So understanding that we all have whatever it is that's a stuck point for us.
Yeah.
I know better than a crackhead if I can't put the cookies in.
Nobody understands a crackhead better than God. I don't know. Somebody put that to
okay. Now we are going to but I know what you mean. I know what point you're getting to.
Yeah, there's no like, well, yeah, I might sin, but my sin ain't as bad as yours.
Right.
No, that's not how God sees it. It's all and if we don't repent, it's gonna go the wrong way. So but so those are things that, some of the things that I've had to learn how to extend grace, forgiveness. And if I want God to forgive me, I gotta be forgiving of others. Yeah. And the Bible tells us to be, quick to listen and slow to speak. Sometimes
it's hard for me. I'm a pressure cooker. I am a pressure cooker.
You're a pot.
I'm a pot.
You want to be a pressure cooker.
Because the pressure cooker is slow and steady? Is that how it works?
No. So the pressure cooker can withstand the press and not be consumed.
Got it. Okay.
If you boil a pot of water, the
water
evaporates.
Somebody take the pot. Take the kettle off the pot. Towel of the tea. Because, man, get me going and somebody pray for me, okay?
Steam up.
Steam up. steam up, you
blow
know.
off.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I think I said, I was the Dutch oven. I'm kind of in between the pot and the pressure cooker. So I'm learning to. There are very much times where I just get like dumb heated, like there's no return. But I think sometimes it's taking a moment, like, you know what, let me just go. Goodbye. I have to step away from this situation, in conversations or whatever, so that it doesn't turn,
You know what we need? We need our pineapple. We need that one word when we see one of us go, especially in business and in friendship too. When we see one person and it's like pineapples, like relax, like you know you're on one. That's where you want to be. We're on one. You're on 10. I'm gonna need you to bring it on down. So like, what can be that word for us? And I can say it to myself for any situation I go through without you guys, of course. But I think I need that word, something to stop me from the panic.
I don't know. So, and you know, I don't know. That is something that
Free go laugh.
I'm going, because I'm gonna reverse it to myself. If I'm hot and you pineapple me, like I might not receive that.
Like, no pineapples here.
Yeah. It's all about the self-work. It's all about the self-work, and you know, are you able to
try it?
Are you able to receive the pineapples? Because if you get pineapple,
I think if we wrote the agreement down, everybody had to sign it. Maybe we put it in documentation form. And,
yeah. I think for me, I'm more of like, pause me. You know, if I ever get to the point of that, be like, pause. Let's come back to this. Let's circle back.
Ooh, that's a hard thing to swallow. I'll never forget in business the first time that I got the let's circle back to this, and I was like, circle back? No, we're gonna talk about this right now, because right now had to be the right now, you know. And like I said, we need a word. Maybe the word might be like, okay, as much as you think you're not here, you are, and here's how we're going to slow that pace.
Do you want it pause or break or
break?
Time out.
Time out.
I think I even hit Deanna with the pause.
This all sounds like
hold on.
Like a shot, you know, thing for a shot. No, I don't know.
Okay, we'll think about it.
Latte.
Hey, audience, what do you think? What do you think is a good word?
Latte.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I work better with circling back. You know, let me come back to this in a moment, because right now it ain't gonna get resolved when you're upset. And this could be anywhere, whether it's a friendship, personal relationship with your parents, your child, your sisters and brothers, your cousins, whoever, your work. Sometimes
pause.
Absolutely.
Huh?
There's power in pause.
There is power in pause, and I had to learn that, because I used to be a little firecracker at work, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just take a moment on this, and I'll come back to you. I will talk about it later or not ever.
Yeah.
Sometimes silence is golden, but sometimes silence is not real received. So like, sometimes if I'm involved in a heated exchange with somebody and they going, I will be silent. But then that can be perceived as not being engaged or not taking this situation seriously, or going off or whatever. But I always stand by this. I say it a lot. My granddaddy always told me never argue with a fool, because folks will know different. So I had taken on the notion of, I'm not going to argue. I refuse to argue. If you want to argue by yourself. If you want to have an intelligent discussion, let's talk. But if you're going to be yelling or disrespectful, baby, it's not going to be with me.
Yeah. So,
but sometimes maybe there could be something in between that, if someone's feeling.
Yeah. Because I don't think depending on the situation, you know, yeah, depending on the situation, that may not work either. Because it's like, now I'm expressing myself and you ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
I bet.
It's so funny, like in life and the relationships that I have with different people, it's different depending upon the person.
It is different depending on the person.
I can pause. I am the pauser in some situations, guys. I am the pauser. Like, you, like, no, you're not. You know, we're not. This conversation is not going to proceed forward because I see where it's going. So I don't know. Maybe reflection on how I become that person. You know, how I become a better person on the opposing end when needed.
Yeah. I think my relationship with my son, now that he's older, has helped me pause a little bit, because he is very, you know, relaxed and calm. And he'd be like, wait. When I'm getting heated, I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll take it back. But sometimes I'll still be, you know, fired up. It depends on the situation. But he definitely will make me be like, okay, wait a minute. Let me rein it in a little bit.
Yes, I've worked with Kaylin, and I don't need to anymore, okay? he put me in my place, and I get it, you know? I understand.
Yeah. Oh,
Kaylin, she's okay with working when she was okay.
Yes, I just don't have to. I just want him to know, like, Sensei, I got it, you know?
So I think another thing that can help when, you know, on the journey of discovery for purpose is to think about, you know, what motivates you and what you are committed to. So what motivates you and what are you committed to?
Ooh.
You know what motivates me? And I've said this in several podcasts. I want to have freedom in my life. What does freedom look like? Is freedom from anxiety, stress. It is freedom from financial burdens. It is freedom from living in a box life. Like, everything isn't materialistic, but I want to be able to see the world. God planted so many beautiful flowers and trees. I spent so much. I was in my backyard for half of the day. I should have been working, but you know, going back outside, just walking in the grass.
Telling all your work, girl. You know what happened to me?
It happens. This may or may not be the truth. How about that? But you know, walking around in the grass, there's so many beautiful things that God has put on this earth for us to see, and it's meant for everyone to experience, whether you experience it on the map or actually traveling. You know, just freedom in general, just to be able to get up and do the things that fill my heart with love and passion and, you know, purpose, and be able to go to sleep knowing I did something that I love to do.
My family motivates me. You guys motivate me. Savannah being a mom to Savannah, because I always think future, you know, her being a mom, what will she take away, you know, from me? And I want it to be the best experience, you know. So that definitely keeps me motivated and wanting more. I think back prior to the time before I had her, and where would I be now if I didn't? You know, that would be pretty scary. Because she is a big part of my motivation. But I want to be that motivator for myself. So I will say I motivate me. You know, if I'm close to being there, I'm working to get there. And then what am I committed to? Being a good person. Like, I want to be a good person. I want, when I'm not in a room and people are talking about me, for them to be saying all positive things. Like, that moves me, you know, what people say about me, not so much where it will, you know, hurt me if somebody's saying the wrong thing or speaking some truth about me that's incorrect, but I do care about what people honestly will say about me when I'm not around. So I just want to be a good person. I'm committed to being a good person.
Yeah, I think years ago too, I think it was in a work experience that like a work mentor recommended don't look for people, places, or things to motivate you.
Yeah.
But, you know, be in an environment that promotes self-motivation.
Yeah.
Like you said, touched on earlier, Bianca, that you want to surround yourself with positive people and things that, you know, it creates the environment or the atmosphere to be motivated. Like, we often talk about energy transfer or whatever, like wants to be around someone who's like constantly draining their energy. You know? So surrounding yourself with people, you know, who are like-minded or who have achieved some things that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
I think
it's important.
That should come about not just in business, but also in relationship, in, you know, in spiritual growth. Like, saturate yourself with people that you do see as, you know, spiritual leaders or who have some, you know, you never say that you want to walk in someone else's shoes because you don't know truly what they go through. But if there's something about them that, you know, exudes light, that you want to experience the light that is shining from them. I remember too, in another work relationship, there was a lady I worked with that I didn't know well initially, but I just liked being in her presence. I felt like she was always positive. She had such a genuine spirit, and I knew that she went to church. I ended up asking her like what church she went to. I visited her church and went to her church several times, but I didn't know her life story. I didn't know everything that she had been through. I knew what I saw in her at that time, which was she definitely was exuding light of Christ. But when she shared her story with me, she was like, I haven't always been here, you know. And she explained to me that she was a recovered addict or recovering addict, and all the different things that, you know, she went through in life before she got to that point. And she was like, now I'm saved, now I'm married, you know, I have this family, my husband is great. And it was just like, literally, it felt like she had a glow about her that was representative of the transition from one lifestyle to another. So
I love that.
Yeah, and she's the type of person that somebody would say, "Oh, I would have never imagined that, you know, you went through that, or that was once your life." But I think that was also inspirational of, you know, and representative of what God can do. Like, yes, someone could be, you know, what would be looked at as somebody that's not going to be anything in life. You know, God wants to throw them away. But once they make up in their minds or have an experience or encounter that makes them, positions them to change, or motivates them to change, that their life can become totally different. So I think that's another reason why we have to be careful how we treat people when they're not at their best, you know. So that we are encouraging versus discouraging to them making the changes that they need to make in their life.
I love that. I'm definitely all about energy, and, you know, you always see these things online where people are empaths or they're this or they're that. And I definitely, you know, when I'm around someone with great energy, it's almost like feeding me. Like, you are just feeding my spirit with this great energy. And it makes you want to be surrounded with them, and no more, you're just attracted to that. But, you know, same with someone with, you know, not so great energies, that can be definitely draining, where you're like, peace out. I can't. Because for me, it takes on a whole, like, a weight on my shoulders to be around, you know, negative energy. But yeah, those positive light people, they are the best. And you find them when you least expect it. You know, it's not like you're going out there to find them, but they enter your life when you need it the most.
Yeah. I do think, you know, going back to like some of the challenges or situations or, you know, just life events or factors of our lives that we have been entrusted with, is not to necessarily test us, trouble us, or harm us in any way. It really is to give us the opportunity to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
So, in that spirit, what are some of the greatest matters that you think you've been entrusted with?
Ooh. The very first one that I could think of is being a parent at 19. And, coming home with a kid and this is baby and it's like a whole person. You're like, this is an actual person who was given to me by the stork. No, just kidding. By God. And why does God trust me like this? He don't know me. Like, I don't know what to do with this thing.
What if I break it?
Right. I don't know what to do with this thing. And it was so funny. I remember I would not talk to Kayla like the first couple weeks. And my aunt was like, he's a baby, talk to her. And I'm like, what do I say to him? Like, I don't even know what to say. But yeah, it's just one that I was like, that was the first thing I was entrusted with. And then, after that conversation with my aunt, it got easier and easier. And then I'm like, I kind of just fell into the role. But that was like the biggest thing. And even still that he's like 24, I still feel like I'm entrusted with this being on earth. He's no longer mine. He was never mine. But he's in my head, you're like, oh, this is my baby, but he's never yours. It's God's child that you were entrusted to like mother. But even now I still am like, I want to help and mother and be there. And, he's a whole adult. So yeah, that was the first thing that I could recollect.
What about you? Not ready yet.
Well, I would say parenting is definitely like a major trust. Wow, you're really trusting me to be like an authority figure over this whole human being's life. So, and my initial parenting experience came by way of bonus kids before I had biological kids, but to me, they are no different. Like when I met my now husband and he told me about his children, I'm like, oh, all children prior to and born into this marriage are equal card carrying members of this family. There's no step kids here. We're responsible for them. We're responsible for all of them. So I would never want any child, even nieces, nephews, whatever, anybody that has had the opportunity to be under my shelter are treated as such. Like there's no difference. I've heard horror stories of, either step parents or children being felt, isolated or not treated fairly or the same. And I'm like, that is just hurtful to me that someone could mistreat a child who just wants to be nurtured and loved. So to me, I feel like any child that I have the opportunity to be a part of their life, whether it's for a season or a lifetime, I want them to feel appreciated and loved and like a full card carrying member of the family. So I think I've been entrusted with that over and over again. And
maybe that's your purpose.
It's something that I definitely will walk in.
For one of them.
Yeah, one of your purposes.
Yeah. And I mean, when I say treated fairly, that means they're going to get disciplined.
She's like, there will be whippings.
So what I have told my family members, like, the kids can come, just understand I will kids. They get out of line.
Period.
They might get bopped. They ain't going to need to go to the hospital, but they will be treated as equal card carrying members of the family. If that's a problem.
I'm a firm believer in that, actually. I just
whooping children.
Well, not whooping children.
Whatever.
Disciplining children. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I've been to say something before the parent to say something. I'm like, oh, let me get them back in my place. But I feel like any child that's in my presence, I'm like, I want to make sure you're safe. No, don't do that. Get down. Whatever the case may be, because I can't see a child get hurt. That is like the worst thing ever. But also, I feel like, this is my family too at some point, if I'm around you to a certain degree. So,
yeah.
I am struggling with this question. I've tried to pull something from you guys' answer, and one for sure is motherhood. I think that is a wonderful responsibility, and there are women who have taken this responsibility and that they hadn't even birthed the child. So God definitely has entrusted me in motherhood, but I don't know what else. Like, I don't have my second answer. I don't know. I'm curious to know what that is. So nothing.
No, you've been entrusted with a lot of things. You've been entrusted with this entrepreneurship journey that we're on, but you've also been entrusted with helping others business grow.
Yes, for
through
sure.
The marketing and the media and all the things that you help supply to the business. So you are a support system.
Doing something out here
for others.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that.
We may have to switch back.
Yeah, we might have to do a change of rule. Well, I don't know how many more questions we had. I just have one more. Mine was, and mine is kind of a closer question, but maybe you guys might have something else too to add to this. But
hi, Sharita.
Hi, Sharita. Happy birthday.
She said that she agreed, Shelly, you are amazing.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. That means so much coming from you. Sharita is definitely one of those people in my life that motivates me for sure. Because did y'all see her birthday dress?
Girl, okay, so whenever we do our next promo, I already said I wanted Sharita to be our stylist.
She has to.
We gotta go shopping.
I said, if the dress is shiny, it is pink, baby. It is popping.
It's snatched and
all that. It's snatched. I said, I have to. And then your makeup, girl. Your makeup.
Sharita, we gotta go shopping.
Picture, see if she's the real person.
Yes.
There actually is an event. It's honoring women of God, and I actually nominated Sharita for this award. It takes place here, but I'm glad that you're here. So now I can tell you that I nominated you for this because you're an outstanding person, and I appreciate you for being in our lives.
Yes.
So my question was the richest place in the world is the graveyard. It's a place that is filled with purpose. Some obtain and some not. How do you, based off of this conversation, how will you continue to walk in your purpose?
I will continue to aspire to let my life look like what God wants it to look like versus more so of what I think it should look like. Because I'm limited. I'm limited in my thoughts and my abilities. The Bible tells us that God's ways are not our ways, and His thoughts are not our thoughts. As far as the east,
which is such a big pill to swallow. Stop trying to understand it.
So, and I think there's a certain freedom when you allow God to do what He gonna do, move out of the way. So often people say, I want to be a vessel, I want to be used by God. God, however you want to use me. But we don't necessarily think about what that means. That might mean, let me use you to show the world that cancer is not the end of the thing. Let me, let you sit in the seats of those who have dealt with critical illness and show how, this thing can be something that doesn't have to end in death, or and even get past the fact and know that death is not the final thing. It's just a transition, like we are ever beings. When we transition this life, we want to experience the afterlife in a positive way. So I had to get beyond the thought of, what would happen to me or what would happen to my family if I was no longer here. Hopefully what that would look like is just like I became the new person in CD's life when he lost his mom, that my family would be taken care of, whatever that looks like. So getting beyond yourself, like, so I want to continue to put myself aside, put the priorities and the things of God first, therefore letting my life reflect what he wants and not necessarily what I think is best.
He just has the better plan. He know what this is supposed to look like, you know, and it's a very hard pill to swallow sometimes to it's gonna be bad to entrust this in God. Like, God, I know you got it, right? But
I would like for it to look like
So my answer was gonna be to lean less into my understanding and more into his. Like, get out God's way. Because I think a lot of times
if you don't, he will push you down too.
He go ahead and push you down, and you find yourself on the ground. Like, you know what?
How did I get here?
I should have just moved. So I think for me is because that's what causes the anxiety. You got to think your way out of it, and you got to figure it out. And it's like, you know what? Nope. I did the work. God, let me get out God's way. And God will always come up with an answer for me. So I think for me, it's leaning less into my own understanding, get out of God's way, and, you know, to further my relationship with God. So I have a better understanding. So I hear his word when he's speaking to me. So Sharita said, I might not understand it, but he will definitely know what's best. Yeah. But his will is definitely what's best. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was trying to mute this. Yes, girl. Am I echoing?
Yes.
Your audio is coming from 2 devices right
now. Sorry, because we're gonna die on this other one. Yes, all of that. I have to get over this ability, because I think it's held me back. It's held me back in love. It's held me back in that freedom that we all want. It's held me back for a long enough period of time where I do like, God, just take over, because obviously I'm not doing a good job at obtaining the true things that I want now. And yes, I feel like I'm getting closer, because who knew? We didn't grow up with this plan to go into business together. This is that thing that just happened where we were sitting down and we talked about wanting to change our lives, you know? And do more of getting out of God's way and just allow the good things to come.
Yeah. One of the other affirmations we say is, you know, God for us, then the world against us.
Yeah.
So, like, whatever we go through, situation, circumstance, whatever, we like, God is for us. So whatever this, like, irritant little gnat thingy is
and it's a gnat
flying around, it's like, shoot fly, don't bother.
Shoot fly. Get out of the way. You think?
Yeah. He's already gone before us and made all the crooked paths straight. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A good thing, a good reminder.
Let me see. I think I had one other thing I wanted to touch base on. Okay, this was another question I had. As we say a lot of affirmations. I think another one we can add to the list is, in all situations, under all circumstances, I will stay in the light. Jesus is the light of the world. So I think, too, we can challenge ourselves to say the word I less. I want this, I want that, I. It's all about me. And say God more.
Mm-hmm.
God wishes above all that we prosper and be in good health. Mm-hmm. God wants us to be in good standing and good relationship with Him. God wants us to have wisdom and knowledge. He said, if any man lacks wisdom, ask, and knowledge will He freely give us. Mm-hmm. So I think if we can let go of self and the idea of self and the ideas and ideology that we have for ourselves and others, and really turn to what God has in store, what God's will is for our life, what God says about certain situations. That a lot of angst and anxiety, arguments and everything would be settled just that simply. So we do. I think it's challenging because in the midst of something, you tend to say,
squirrel. There's always a squirrel. There is always a squirrel thrown in the mix. Like, this wasn't supposed to happen. We wasn't supposed to squirrel. Yeah, we wasn't supposed to get said email. Yesterday, before we had our meeting, we got an email, and the meeting became about the email.
Like, don't be so easily derailed. Yeah.
Don't just derailed. I love that. Yes.
So maybe
that note,
maybe you failed that one yesterday.
I did too.
But that means we're just gonna have to do it again.
That means we're gonna have to do it again. And when we do pass, does that mean
we'll have to do that again? We might be tested on another level or with something else. But I think when we get past that test,
you can't. You're not gonna be able to tell us nothing. We're gonna be Cafe Coco Latte number 17. Let's get this thing going.
So God is like, get it together. Like y'all gotta get beyond this, so you can go where I'm taking you. Because He's taking us. We gotta get it.
And we will do it. We absolutely will.
So, on that.
And on that note,
if you're still thinking your purpose, we're on this journey with you.
Yes.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
And
I am here with you.
Challenge me as I challenge you, as we challenge each other to be better, to go higher, to be greater, and to keep God at the forefront of it.
Yes.
Love it.
Until next time.
Keep it brewing.
Before we officially keep it brewing, Cafe Coco Latte will be at an event this month, June 17th.
In honor of Juneteenth.
In honor of Juneteenth, half of our team will be at this event in
Franklin Park, 140. I don't remember the street name, but it is in Franklin Park.
On our socials, but it's in honor of remember Black businesses, Black Wall Street, Juneteenth. So we will post the details, and we hope
we already have it posted on our socials, on our Facebook. So definitely check it out.
There it is. Saturday, June 17th, from 2 p.m. to 7.
Yep.
Center at North Park. 10040 Addison Ave, Franklin Park, Illinois, 60431. Come see us there. We would love to see everybody in the place. Cafe Coco Latte will be there.
And
also, we have more news.
More news. 7 days a week.
Yes, Cafe Coco Latte is now open 7 days a week. We are Monday through Thursday from 11 to 7, Friday and Saturday from 11 to 8, Sunday 12 to 6. You could catch us at 835 North Michigan Avenue or 845 North Michigan Avenue, whatever your GPS says. Water Tower Place, downtown Chicago. We are here. We're in the place. Thank you, Janelle. Janelle said great discussion. Janelle is like the unofficial Cafe Coco Latte member.
Yeah.
Our number one barista.
Yes. Wow. I can't wait for you to come up on our show.
Very soon.
Very, very soon. As soon as possible, like this month.
Yeah.
We would
Thank
love
you,
to.
Sharia.
She already said yes.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited. Love to have you on the show. Maybe we can talk about 40 and dating or something to that.
Oh, that's a good topic.
So we talked a little bit about what the topic's going to be, but I'll say it for next time.
Okay.
But there may be a little bit of thrown in there.
Okay.
You never know.
So tune in next time where Janelle Dutton will be our special guest.
Yes. So until then,
keep it brewing.
Keep it brewing.